workers' wages. Okay, mass illegal immigration is to flood the zone against predominantly black and Hispanic working class, so that you've got unlimited, unlimited labor pool, and you can keep wages down for higher margins. The immigration and H-1B visas are the same thing in the tech area. That you don't have to hire American citizens. I can do it with these visas to increase margins. Trade is the same thing. Trade is just against foreign labor in foreign countries unfairly. And so all of it is to suppress workers' wages and to have higher margins, therefore higher stock prices, therefore more wealth, of which the workers don't own any piece of. And so our thesis was the not just the cultural stuff, but the economic stuff. You have an ability to reform this Republican Party and make it a true populist entity.
But they weren't gonna let that happen, they were gonna resist that and almost.
They did, and we took them down. Then we took down Cantor. Remember, we took down Cantor with Dave Brat. We took the first time in the history of the Republic that a sitting majority leader had ever been beaten. Remember, he was beaten in a primary. That Cantor was up here in D.C. on the day of the primary and schlepped down there last night. Fox News, and they came on last night, didn't even know Dave Brat's name. This was unknown, and we had worked it with Laura Ingraham. I mean, we had been Breitbart had been all over this. We had Dave Brat on our radio show, I think every week for the 10 weeks run up to the election. We saw a real vulnerability.
Did you know it was coming?
You definitely knew it was coming. That was also happened to be my home district, but I could feel it. I knew that a guy like Brackett, they were very weak. They were very weak. They didn't have a grasp, and this Tea Party revolt was picking up. So, you had the huge Tea Party revolt in 2010, which we won 62 seats. The Republican Party didn't see that coming. That was all grassroots oriented, which played out over time. Remember, today, the 2000, really Obama's 08, in particularly the primaries, in the 2010, I think changed American politics pretty fundamentally, because the concept got to be mobilization versus persuasion. I don't believe we live in an era of persuasion anymore. People are so saturated with this all day long, they kind of know where they come out. You just got to motivate them to get out there and vote. You got to motivate them to go door to door. So the 08 Obama primary that completely caught Clinton by surprise was all about mobilization. The 2010 Tea Party, particularly the House part of it, that was absolutely, the biggest in the history, I think, since the Great Depression, 1932, was about mobilization. That's why Romney didn't want to have anything to do with it in 12, right? He washed his hands of it. And that's why in this very room in January 2013, they had this huge controversy between the Republican Party did the autopsy. They said, the reason that Romney lost was because we didn't reach out to the Hispanic community, we didn't talk about DACA, we didn't talk about open borders, immigration policy. And a young guy named Stephen Miller, who was on the staff, he went with Michelle Bachmann for the Tea Party revolt. We were very close to Stephen Miller and Jeff